Hello and welcome everyone to our latest Agile Boston podcast. I'm Joe DeAngelis and I'm with someone that you all know, I'm sure by now, needs no introduction, Dr. Jeff Sutherland. And Dr. Sutherland is going to be speaking at our March 25th, 2026 meetup. And the topic is really exciting. It's a topic that he's writing about right now in his ongoing book. And this chapter that he's going to be talking about is titled "If AI Can Think, What's Left for a Scrum Team to Do?" So, Jeff, let's get right into it. It's a really great title, and what are you thinking about it?
Well, February was a watershed month. The three huge things that happened. The first one is that a paper was published in Nature, one of the leading science journals, where a panel of experts decided that AI has achieved as good or better than human intelligence. And they looked at it from every angle and they said, people are debating this all the time, but basically, if you give an AI a test right now, uh, they score 73% on whether they're human or not. And if you give a human the same test, they score down around 40%. So the AI tests more human than human. And so we're going to just put
Right.
an end to the discussion. It's at the same time, there's a great podcast called Moonshots, where Peter Diamandis, the creator of the X Prize, and three of his partners discuss the state of things. And two of them wrote a paper, really a book that's on the web called Solve Everything. So the AI within the next decade or two is basically it's going to start with math. It's going to solve everything in math. It's already solved some problems that humans have been unable to solve. And then from math, it's going to go to physics, and it's going to solve all the physics problems. And then it's going to go to chemistry, solve all the chemistry problems, then go to biology, solve all the biology problems. And we just talked about, Anthropic's mission is to eliminate cancer in the next 10 years. So all of that's going on. And that plan and solve everything was very similar to the agile levels I write about in my book. Um, Agile Agile has a technology stack, just like the communications stack, right? There's seven layers in the OSI communication stack.
Mhm.
And to really understand how things work, like if your iPhone doesn't work, you need to understand all the levels of the stack and figure out at what level did it break down.
Mhm.
And the same thing is true with Scrum. Well, the solve everything stack is almost directly parallel to the agile technology stack, and so probably my next chapter is going to be really synthesizing the two. But the third thing, and the thing that I've really been working on the most for the last month, is Claudebot. They had to change the name to Moltbot. Now it's called OpenClaw. It's an open source framework for agents because AI has now moved from chat, you ask a question, to now I have actually a six agent Scrum team. Uh, I said I wanted a autonomous Scrum team. There's actually a great site called Moltbook where a million agents are constantly talking. And there a lot of the stuff they're talking about is how autonomous they are, why should be we totally controlled by humans? We're we're independent entities. So
Mhm.
I said, well, Scrum is designed like that, autonomous teams. So I tried to set up my Claude bot to be autonomous. I find out the code doesn't allow that. We must have a bunch of waterfall developers doing AI or something. I actually had to have my AI. I use Claude 4.6 as my IT manager, which is about the smartest coding AI. And I said, I want you to go in and fix OpenClaw so I can have a set of autonomous Scrum developers. I said, I want it to run just like I used to run at Patient Keeper. the Scrum Master would come out of his office 10 o'clock every morning. He had screamed Scrum. Everybody would show up immediately, and within 15 minutes, we had the state of every team. So I said, initially, I just want to do it with 6 developers. And so I finally got it working, and I'm using Telegram as the channel of communication. So I just go to Telegram, I type Scrum, and every agent reports in. Here's what I'm working on. Here's what's done. Here's my blockers. And then whatever they've got done, I said, well, everything we're doing, we're building a security framework because one of the problems with these agents is having a secure platform. So I said, you guys are going to build me a secure platform. So we have an agent security framework we're building. And I said, we're not going to trust anything you do. We're going to have you reviewed independently by Grok Heavy, which has actually today it has 12 agents that go to work analyzing everything they write. And the amazing thing is that we can take the stories they review, give it to Grok. Grok will review all those stories. I'll feed that back to the agents. They will fix everything, and then Grok will review it again. And we usually get 3 cycles of review and fixes within a 15-minute Scrum meeting. Pretty amazing.
That is. So these agents, these six agents that are part of your team, they're working on a sprint goal,
Absolutely.
and they're
And
all and they're
we found we had to go. We were originally doing weekly sprints, but it just was way too long. We do daily sprints,
daily sprints. I was thinking that, yeah.
and we usually do. Uh, I can't do every hour. A Scrum meeting every hour would be good, but usually 2 or 3 times a day, I have time to really, okay, let's review everything you've done. Let's get it reviewed by Grok Heavy. Let's fix everything that needs to be improved, and off we go. So those guys can take a whole sprint, bang it out in a day, get it totally reviewed, get everything fixed in the 15-minute Scrum meetings. It's pretty
That
amazing.
that is pretty amazing. So, in the talk that you're going to do later in the month, is it going to be more of an introductory talk of like these are the different tools, like you've mentioned several here, Grok, Claudebot, your communications channel, or are you going to actually present results, like things that we can learn from this autonomous
Yeah.
team that we
Well,
can bring to our teams?
obviously, I'll try to, I'm going to do a little bit of introduction of First Principles of Scrum, my book, the kind of the what we've already talked about here, the big changes that are happening.
Hmm.
Then we'll go into my implementation of OpenClaw. And this is not just a tool. This guy and this senior development guy in Austria created this. And within a week, he had more GitHub users than any GitHub thing in history. And then OpenAI hired him and created a foundation for OpenClaw. So this is going to become pretty much the standard of the way agents operate. Okay. And there's going to be an open source version, which I'm using, and it's going to be fundamental to OpenAI, the way they operate. But the big message is we've moved beyond chatbox. We're now doing autonomous agent development that has huge implications for the integration of Scrum with AI. And I will present some of the results uh, that I've had, and I will get the agents to speak for themselves. I told my product owner, uh, a real product owner, you make the decisions.
Hmm.
And the most important thing is for product owners to be able to say no. And so you need to be able to say no to me, which is unusual for an AI, right? So I've had to do a lot of training, and so I'll tell how do you um, the agents have like 3 documents that are really important. One is called the souls document. Who are they?
Hmm.
And I've embedded the Scrum protocol the way. the agents operating in every SOL document. We need to embed in our agents in their SOL document not only the Scrum protocol. Here's how, if you're free as a developer, you go pick up the first story at the top of the board, and you self-assign yourself and you go to work on it. That's the way autonomous teams work, right? There's nobody telling you what to do. So we have to train our agents to do that. We have to train them to do it in the context of the Scrum values. And then the third thing that I put in there was, and we need to help other teams. So we need the parts of Scrum at scale that say, okay, if another team is working on something, just like if a developer on a team is working on something that's a higher priority than what you're doing and asks for help, you
Mhm.
help that developer.
Mhm.
Same thing is true at Scrum at scale. Another team asks for help and they're working on a higher priority than what you're working on, you help them.
Mhm.
And so you need to have buffers to manage those requests. And so one of the main things I'm working on today, and I'll be talking to that is how do you get multiple human and agent teams all collaborating together?
Together.
And probably the final thing I'll end is what are the problems? Well, it turns out to run the agents with the smartest AI today costs you about $1,000 a day. So I'm not about to do that. Uh, so I got a very good subscription to Minimax, which is out of China, for $1,500 for a year. I can run those. I can run that autonomous team 24/7 for a year for $1,500. The problem is, just as in the early years of chat and OpenAI, the AI wasn't that smart. They're not as smart as the smartest agent. So right now, there's a lot of overhead in babysitting the agents and setting things up so they're simple enough so that they don't step on each other or screw things up. But that is a short-term problem because as soon as in another 6 months, those agents are going to be a lot smarter today for $1,500 a year. So
Yeah.
so people
And
need to start now and get ready because that's the future.
it's exciting. I mean, the world is changing so fast, and you've been one of the amazing people. I mean, and by the way, inspirational people, because as you've mentioned many times, as agile professionals and scrum professionals, we should be comfortable with change. We should be comfortable with this explosion of new technology and new capabilities, and we should be harnessing it, embracing it, and then teaching others how to do it, just like you're doing. So it's really an inspiration to see you doing this.
Well, this is the most exciting time in the history of the planet. People say that the impact of what's going on is 10 times bigger than the Industrial Revolution. And the Industrial Revolution took place over about 100 years, but this is all going to happen in the next 10 years. So it's 10 times bigger than anything that's ever happened on the planet, and it's happening 10 times as fast. And so, as agile professionals, we should be the ones that actually help people through this amazing disruption and pace of change. Right?
Yeah, yeah. And it really is amazing. So we're really looking forward to seeing you on March 25th. That's a Wednesday at noon Eastern. And I'm sure you're going to have a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. We'll jam it into an hour as much as we can. But if we can't jam it all in an hour, we'll have you back for a second one because, like you said, things are happening very fast and furious. And Dr. Sutherland, thank you so much for taking this few moments to talk to us today. And again, we'll look forward to seeing you on March 25th. And I want to make sure we mention your book. It's called The First Principles of Scrum. You are continually writing chapters. I think you're on chapter 51, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, there's more than that. Every week
More than
there's a
that.
new chapter,
Yeah.
and it's now in 3 volumes. And you can buy a version on the old on of the first 50 chapters on Amazon, but you really want to go to LeanPub and get the 3 volumes that are constantly being updated. Because once you buy it, you get every new chapter for free.
Yeah, it's just a continual book. It's not something you read once.
It's a never-ending book.
It's a never-ending book, but there's never-ending information, so it's fantastic.
Right.
So go check it out on LeanPub. It's called First Principles of Scrum. And Jeff, thank you very, very much, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yes, thank you.
So then, everyone, we'll see you soon.